Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Back at it with another tier list. And before I get into this one, I just want to thank you all so much for the positive feedback on my first tier list. Whether it be YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, I've read all of your kind messages and they are all greatly appreciated. How awesome is it to find other people that are just as obsessed with Porygon as I am? Thank you all again for the amazing support. Moving on to the tier list, we will be giving each and every Porygon TCG card a rating. And then at the end of the video, I'll give you my top 5 Porygon cards. As a disclaimer, all opinions today, good or bad, are my own. I'm not here to bash on any of the artists that drew these cards because I have no reason to. All of these cards are unique and special in their own way. I just have a preference on what I want from a Porygon card, and that's pretty much how I'll be grading them. On how much they tell a story and the feeling as a Porygon fan that the cards give me. All right, without further ado, let's get started. So we will be going through these in chronological order. So we're going to be starting with obviously cards from the 90s, and then we'll make our way to the most recently released Porygon card, which was in 2025 this year. All right, so we're going to start with the very first Porygon card. And this one is from the base set. Was released in English in 1999. The first Porygon card ever made. The first one I ever saw. And interestingly enough, like I did play a lot of video games back then, but I was not even aware of like the Nintendo 64. I was still playing, Game Boy games, Super Nintendo. So to see something printed like this and sort of, those 3D graphics, I thought was super awesome. Can't think of anywhere else this card would go because this is the OG Porygon card. This is going in S for sure. Yeah, I love this card. I have it displayed in multiple locations. It's just a great card. I mean, it reminds me of like a Windows background. This is what the Windows background should have been, honestly. So the OG Porygon, that goes in S. Moving along, we have the next Porygon card, which is in the Team Rocket set, which was released in English in the next year, 2000. And I absolutely love this card. It's one of my absolute favorites. I just imagine, racking up all the coins in the game corner. And, you get 9,999 coins. And you tell the person that works there that I want my Porygon. And this is how I imagine you would get it. Sort of like an adoption process. It's like a baby Porygon in like a little box, and I think it might have air holes too, which is pretty funny. So yeah, I'm definitely giving this an S, and I actually would put this above the first Porygon card. This card is fantastic, pretty adorable. All right, moving on. We have Sabrina's Porygon, and this one was also from 2000. So we got two Porygons, Porygon cards in the year 2000, and this is from the Gym Challenge. And it's the first one with a gym leader, and I think it's the only one. I don't recall any other gym leaders are in Porygon. The only thing that comes close is Team Rocket's Porygon, which we'll talk about later. I really like this one, especially the background. That might be the official art of Porygon. So, as much as I hate to say it's not like a ton of effort was put into it, but the motherboard background is pretty cool. With that being said, I'm putting the B. Kind of a step down. Not artistically, but conceptually, it's a step down. But it's still a solid card. And then next we have Porygon from Neo Destiny, which was released 2 years later in 2002. There's really not too much to say about this card. I can't even really say what this card is trying to depict, other than that it's a Porygon with some shining light coming out of it. So yeah, it's definitely not my favorite card. I mean, it's a good looking card. Porygon looks fantastic in it, but there's just not a lot going on in it. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put this in this still nice to look at. All right, so now we're picking up some momentum because the next card is it's a pretty iconic card, and this one was released sometime between 1999 and 2003. Not positive the official release time on this one, but all I have to say is this one is it's pretty cool. Of course, I'm talking about cool Porygon. Again, this one does not have a lot going on in the background, but I think when you're cool, you don't need stuff going on the background because you're just cool, you know? What more can you say? Porygon is cool, and those feelings have been validated by this card. So obviously, I'm going to put this in the S because this is one of the best cards ever. Because it's cool, and Porygon is cool. So I'm actually going to put this in S, and I'm going to put it in front of the first Porygon card, but behind the Team Rocket one. All right, moving along. We have Porygon from the Vending Machine Series 1. And this one was released in 1998, and these cards were printed to be sold in vending machines. I mean, you've probably seen that in like card shops now. It's kind of like a common thing, but it's probably even more common back in the 90s. And apparently, once you put your money in it, you get 3 cards, and you could have possibly gotten this card. And I gotta say, I really like this card. I imagine this being kind of like a Porygon that escaped. You know, I mean, we could have potentially escaped from Team Rocket or the Game Corner, and it's stuck. It's just stuck in the Celadon City streets. Seems to be in an alley in a big city somewhere, and I really like it. You know, it's kind of like Home Alone, except the Porygon is lost in New York City. So, really like this card. So I'm gonna put it in the A because it is awesome. It is a great card. It has a great pose. Porygon looks pretty stressed out, but you know what? He looks great. And yeah, I'm a big fan of this card. And then moving on is Porygon card from Aquapolis. Hope I'm saying that right. And this was released in 2003. So this card is again depicting a Porygon in the game corner. You can kind of see to the side that has like the slot machines, a sign that says play, so on and so forth. And it's a pretty decent card. It's not my favorite. And it's kind of, I hate to say it, but getting a little repetitive, the game corner stuff. So I still like it. I think it's well made. But I'm going to put it in the B behind Sabrina's Porygon. And next we have the Porygon card from EX Fire Red and Leaf Green, which was released a little bit after the previous card in 2004. And I really like this one because you can see in a lot of Pokedex entries that Porygon is Pokemon that, you know, travels through cyberspace. But that's not something that you see depicted a lot. Well, you obviously don't see it depicted in the anime, which would be awesome if that were the case. So this is the first time we get to see something like that. And yeah, it's traveling through cyberspace at very high speeds, and it looks like it's having a blast. And I just wish I knew where it was going exactly. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this card. All right. So the next one is a card from EX Unseen Forces, which was released the next year in 2005. And I got to be honest with this card, I do not really understand what is happening. It looks like Porygon's stuck in a desert for whatever reason. There might be, you know, like a windstorm, but yeah, it's very concerning that Porygon got to a desert somehow. I don't know the whole story, if there is one. It is a bit more ominous than a lot of these cards, which I'm not a huge fan of that. But still a decent card, but it's just not my favorite. Unfortunately, that's going to go in C. All right. And the next one is from the EX Delta PC set, which was also released in 2005. And yeah, I like this one. I think it's pretty good. It's solid. As a perky Porygon pose. And I'm actually more interested in the architecture. It leaves a lot of questions like, where is Porygon? How did he get there? And why is he there? So yeah, I think this is a pretty decent card. Feeling good, so I'm gonna put that in the B, but not as strong as the other two cards in B. And then next we have a card from Great Encounters, which was a Diamond and Pearl set in 2008. And this one could be depicting Porygon traveling through cyberspace. So it isn't anything that they haven't done before. And it's actually kind of eerily similar to the Porygon card in the Neo Destiny set, which is this one right here. So it's pretty similar to that one. And I mean, it's a coin toss. I guess I kind of like this. I guess I like this one a little bit more because it's more chunky. But yeah, a lot of similarities there. Then next we have Porygon card from Triumphant set in 2010. And I like this one. It's a different pose than what we're used to seeing from Porygon card. You kind of see how its head moves, which hasn't been depicted. And it kind of gives you the sense that it can, turn its head all the way around on an axis, or like a bird, which is interesting. Not sure if we've seen that before, but yeah, it's a pretty good card. Seems to be, I don't know, in the city somewhere. It's a solid entry for sure. I'll put a B. A little bit, like that one a little bit. All right. So that's the 4 or 5 cards that have been released. They're not really thinking outside the box, pushing the boundaries or anything. But this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. And then this next one is the in Soul Silver promo card in 2010. And it's kind of refreshing to see a card that's a little bit weirder. Nothing too standard about this one. It could be, again, going through cyberspace, but it could also be in outer space. Who knows? But I like this one. This is a solid card. I actually don't have this card. But I need to add that to my list. But yeah, it's a good card. Then next up we have a card from Plasma Blast, which is the black and white set in 2013. And if Porygon was real, I think this is how it would live its life, just in a lab, sitting there waiting to be used. So in that sense, it's very realistic. Does it tell a story or depict anything that we haven't seen before? Not really, but is it a pretty good card? I would say so. Yeah. I'm gonna give this one a B, and I kind of just like the way it looks. It works for me. All right. Now we're moving on to more modern cards, and this next one is from Ancient Origins in 2015. So all these cards are printed in the last 10 years. This one is Porygon. I mean, he looks like he's having a blast. I mean, he's floating through the river. I have no idea where he's going. It's kind of concerning because he is a technology Pokemon. Hopefully, that water isn't getting inside of him, because it could definitely cause some issues. So it's a little bit stressful to look at this card, but it's very confusing. But I still like it. I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna put it now. It was about like 10 years ago or so that I started collecting Pokemon cards again. And I remember pulling this card and not terribly exciting, but it's okay. It gets the job done. Now the next card would actually be a reprint of this card right here, the original one. So we're gonna skip that one and then move on to the Porygon card from Burning Shadows in 2017. And this one is pretty cool because it shows him, I believe he's using Hyper Beam. And this is the first time we have a card where Porygon is using an attack. And, I have quite a few of these cards and I like them. I like them quite a bit. Because this is the first time he's looked cool in quite a while. I'm going to put him in the A. I like this one. And then next is a Porygon card in Unbroken Bonds 2019. And then this one I really like this one. It's Porygon floating in space. And that's really all there is to it. Not much else going on, but it is quite nice to look at. The shadows on Porygon are looking good. The background is awesome. So I'm gonna put that like in a high B. There has to be a least favorite card, right? Unfortunately, this Porygon card from Unbroken Bonds is probably my least favorite Porygon card because it's just not very exciting to me. Again, it's Porygon in a swamp. Not sure what is going on in this card. It's just, I don't know. It kind of just makes me sad. So I'm gonna have to put that in C. And as you can probably tell, there's not going to be anything worse than C, which I think is a good thing. Next is some more new cards from this one's from Chilling Reign. That would be from 2021. And this is a solid card. Again, Porygon depicted in a lab. But the art style is pretty neat. Definitely a more pointy Porygon than what we usually see. And I think they did a pretty great job on using colors. I think it's a pretty successful card. And I'm gonna put that one. I don't know if it's an A, but I think it's definitely a strong B. And then this next one from Lost Origins is quite some eye candy. This one was released in 2022, and it has a pretty awesome background. Porygon is looking as cute as ever, and there's just like a lot of shapes going on in the background, and the colors just look great. I hate to use the word pop as a graphic designer, but Porygon is just popping off this card, so this one's good. I'm gonna put this one in A. I really like it. Okay. And then the next one is from 151, released in 2023. And this is kind of just kind of like a remake of the first Porygon card. And I thought they did a good job, Obviously not as nostalgic as the original card, but it's still good, Still think it's an A. And the grass is certainly greener in this card. All right, so we're down to our last two, and this card right here from Paradox Rift is one of my favorite Porygon cards. I think it's absolutely adorable. I think it's such a great idea to have Porygon with the building blocks because who knows what Porygon is thinking when he's seeing all these shapes. He's probably thinking that's another Porygon, and that's kind of the feelings that I get from it. So this is an A without a doubt. And actually, yeah, it's one of the best ones. All right. And we are down to the final card. This is Team Rocket's Porygon. And again, this was released in 2025. A card that I still do not have my hands on, but hopefully it's something I can get soon. And I really like this one, you know, as a person that works in IT, to see Porygon in a server room, it's so obvious, right? But it's never been done. And I think it's a great idea. The angle at which we see Porygon, it's kind of looking superior. Like, you know, I run this server room. I really like it. The use of colors is awesome. It's very to say, but it's very retro looking. Yeah, and it's Team Rocket's Porygon. I just hope I hope this Porygon is treated well. But yeah, big fan of this card. I'm also going to put this in the A. And rolling up too much. And so if you're in the S tier, you are one of my favorite cards. These cards are really great too. A lot of B's and a few C's. I feel like if you look at the S cards and the A cards, there's quite a big drop off between the S and A cards and the B and C cards, unfortunately. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but overall, I think Porygon has some really great cards. And if I had to rank these, like my top 5, I would put. I mean, pretty much how it's laid out right now is Team Rocket's Porygon coming in at number 5, the OG on the base set, Cool Porygon number 3, and then Porygon from Paradox Rift with the building blocks. I love it, so adorable. And then number 1 from the Team Rocket set, Porygon in like an adoption box is one of the cutest things I've ever seen in the world. So that's it. That's my top 5. That's my general feelings on the Porygon TCG cards. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you guys are interested, I would love to do one for Porygon2 and Porygon-z. Might even be more fun than this one. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and I hope you all have a great day. And remember,